Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Gunnar. I'll be doing episode 2 of my All About Me series. This is basically when I have the opportunity to talk to you guys about my life. I give you guys information, so this way you guys are a little bit more informed, but that way you guys can create an idea of my personality and the effects that I bring to society. So, with that said, guys, we're going to jump right into it, and we're going to be digressing and giving you guys information regarding a little bit more detail about the previous episode. If you guys are unfamiliar, I did do another episode. It's obviously episode 1, but the functionality of still aligns. I talked about my high school in a little bit of detail, and I talked more or less about graduating. So, we do have a wide array of things still to talk about, obviously, but when it comes down to the main functionality of it, I really want to digress into the high school part, and I want to give you guys information regarding my style of how I went about it. So, was I always a good student? Of course not. I'd made my mistakes, and I would like to think that I learned from them, but I guess we'll find out. I mean, college is coming close, and it'll be around the corner before I know, and hopefully everything will fit into an appropriate slot. But college is not like high school. College is completely different, and the functionality of it is completely a lot more detailed. It's more about you instead of you being the bitch and doing all the work while everybody reaps the rewards. That's kind of what, high school is. High school is the sense that you just kind of follow the leader, you do what you're supposed to do, and you have no ability to say otherwise. But in college, you're paying for every class, and in a sense, you're paying for everybody's job title. So, you're kept to a higher regard. Granted, you can still be terminated for being less intelligent than the common person, so keep that in mind. But how does this all funnel out to the high school? Well, again, was I a good student? Of course not. I mean, I had made so many mistakes, and I would, again, like to think I improved, or at least improvements on the horizon. But, what did I do that was so bad? And I told you guys briefly about this in the last episode. Freshman, sophomore, and junior year, for a majority of junior, I was a very good student. I would get A's, B's, I did everything I was supposed to, I played follow the leader with everybody that I was supposed to do, and I really cared about every single grade to the highest magnitude. Now, granted, that happened all of elementary and middle school as well, and I would get extremely invested into my grade. If I got a B, a B was like a normal person getting an F and failing the entire class. I did not like B's. Not at all. And for some reason, A just stuck to me, and maybe that's because my name starts with A. Maybe that's why the indication that getting an A was a higher regard. And it took me a long time to accept that a C is an average, and, it's okay to get B's. It's not a big deal. But I've never gotten a D or an F, and I will probably never get a D or an F because, at that point, you're really not trying maybe as hard as you should be. And I think we all know that. Now, how does this funnel out to a realistic output? Well, there was repercussions for my actions. I definitely did a lot of thinking in the 3 weeks that I had available. But what mainly happened was as junior year hit, and junior year was definitely a very difficult time for me towards the end because I just quit going to school. I literally would just stop going. I'd maybe go one day, miss 4 days. I didn't care. And that's just how this stuff worked out. And a lot of this was in part and due because I did have blocks off. I had classes that were time slots that I didn't have to go to. And it was awesome. If you guys are unfamiliar, our school uses block scheduling. So it's kind of like you have 4 classes the entire day. They're an hour and a half long, and they go for about a duration of a term or a semester. The ones that go for a semester are your real classes, your math, your science, the ones that will actually help you in real life. They actually sector you and make you more intelligent in a sense. Not everything that they teach you is obviously going to make you smart, but they attempt to make you more educated. And then you have your secondary classes, like your shop and all that other fun stuff that everybody likes to do. Those are secondary classes. Those usually only last about a term, but they're equivalent to 5 credits, while a semester term is equivalent to about 10 credits. Now, our school uses credit system. We had to get 235 to graduate, which sounds like a big number, but you have 4 years to do it, and you'll definitely go through your fair share of slots. I mean, you have 4 classes, and you do that for, 4 terms. So a total of 16 classes or terms if you put it into that perspective. But anyway, with that said, there was definitely a lot of problems that came with missing classes. Different outlooks came to you, different people looked at you in a different perception, or they thought you were lazy. Now, granted, I was extremely lazy, but a lot of it was due in part to the fact that I just didn't want to go. I felt like the information I was being taught just wasn't important. Like, I was in English, and I still remember this very fluently. We were doing poetry, and it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, out of all the stuff you could have picked for this class, you chose a subject that a very small amount of people get into. and I didn't understand it. I mean, I know a lot of people can read it, but not everybody writes poetry. It's not that easy. Now, granted, you can write poetry to a certain degree. You can do like smaller and less, I guess, intellectual side of it, and then you can jump into the higher creativity side of it, like what a lot of the people you'll read during that time period. But I'm not here to bitch about poetry, but the functionality of it still aligned. I just didn't enjoy it, so I quit showing up, and I would miss, third, fourth block every single day for, 4 times a day, or 4 times a week, and I just kind of how it worked out. Now, unfortunately, my downside of this and my repercussions were of the highest regard, and they did come back and slap me very hard. And what happened was I basically, when senior year hit, I did the same thing. First term, I didn't care, so I would miss some days. I just didn't want to go. And it was dumb. Of course it was stupid. I mean, it almost didn't allow me to graduate at midterm. Now, what were my repercussions per se? Well, I actually didn't know you could have this occur to you. And it was definitely an eye-opener, obviously. But I actually got terminated from the school board. Basically what happened was I got unregistered because they thought I dropped out of high school. And that was an interesting time. That actually opened my eye to a different side of our school, because I didn't know you could actually just get like kicked out because it was a public school. It's not like I was paying for any of this shit or anything like that. But yeah, I guess in a sense got kicked out of high school. And that was a lot of fun. That was definitely a good 3 weeks. But the problem was I didn't tell my parents. I waited 3 weeks and I was like, oh, look, I got some vacation time. I'm just gonna, pretend to go to school in the morning. I would wait, 30 minutes because my parents would then go to work. And I would just go, 2 blocks over, wait in a parking lot, have my little phone, and I'd watch a video or two, and then come back home and sleep the whole day because they wouldn't get back until 4 o'clock. And I had plenty of time to, get some sleep and pretend to do whatever I wanted to do that day. So yes, I would, do that for 3 weeks, and then they got a phone call wondering if I was ever going to come back, and my dad was conflicted of that, but my repercussions for that were not of a higher regard. He didn't, he was mad, but he wasn't furious, let's put it that way. He was conflicted to why I, wasn't in school. But, that's just how that stuff works out, I guess you could say. But, everything came a little bit better, especially when I got re-rolled. Everything was a top priority, and I kind of fell out of this depression mode. I kind of went back into this, in a sense, try-hard mode, and everything seemed to work out. From time to time, I just wouldn't do assignments, but it wasn't like I was skipping school. I wasn't missing school. I wasn't doing it on purpose. Now, from time to time, maybe I would be like, I don't feel so good today, so I could sit home and play some Call of Duty or something. But, I mean, we've all done that. Any guy's done that. I mean, I know many people that have done it more than I have, but maybe not on the par level of my extreme, but, from time to time, you kind of want to stay home and play some Call of Duty, Battlefield, whatever your cup of tea is. And that's just kind of where I fell to, but it wasn't a huge priority, but it would quickly add up a little bit over time. But, how does this digress into the graduation side of it? Well, I was lucky enough to graduate, because I graduated at midterm, and that was also a lot of fun. Now, unfortunately, guys, the episode's coming to an end, but I promise you guys on the next episode we will be talking about life after graduation, because it's not of the highest, I guess you could say. I'm not always morally excited about my life, but that's how we go down from this standpoint. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully the information was funny. Hopefully you guys got a couple of smiles in there, maybe a couple of laughs at my misfortunes, but that's just how life works. Life can be a bitch sometimes, and you gotta take it with a grain of salt. So, anyway guys, this is gonna be NMO, and I'll be signing off. Peace.